Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Ray. You can find me online everywhere at Ramen Brownie. So that's on CFN, PSN, the Twitter, IG, some forums. Hit me up. I might talk back to you. I might not. I'm kind of a jerk like that. So welcome to my Street Fighter V tutorial series, in which I hope to impart all the knowledge that I've gained from being a scrub since 1991, when 2 came out in the arcades. So the title for today is Basic Execution, and basic execution is exactly that. It's just the ability to do whatever moves your character has on a consistent basis. We're not going to get into the advanced stuff in this video. That's going to happen later on. So let's set up our training environment, because the first thing we want to do when we log in, or at least what I want to do, is I want to get warmed up before I just hop into some ranked and casual matches. So I'm going to go into the training room. Oh, you know what? Let's go full-on training mode. We're going to go into the grid. Might as well get used to the grid. So I'm an Akali player primarily. And I think today we'll beat up on Nash, because Nash has some godlike normals at times. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get in, we're going to get into options, we're going to set everything up the way we need it to be set up, and then we're just going to go. So ideally you want to do this at the start of each session. It doesn't really take long. So I'm going to go into options. Now, pro tip, if you got a real Arcade Pro 4 or Kai like I do, or certain other joysticks do, if you tap on that touchpad, magical things happen. So in this case, when I tap on the touchpad, because I went in here in the shortcut settings and I turned on stuff like battle info display, battle starting position, and status settings, it lets me do all sorts of stuff. So when I actually press the touchpad in different locations, I can reset the battle to here. If I just flick the damn thing on and off, then I can get here in basic settings, attack data and key display, and you almost always want them on because they're really useful. So we're going to go into dummy settings afterwards. Leave status on dummy, state on stand, no guard, no recovery, normal on counter. Set stun to no stun, because when you start wailing on this guy, you really don't want to be interrupted by him going into a stun state. That's something we can play around with later on. And then we're going to back out. So this is just basic execution. So it doesn't get any more basic than being able to just bang out buttons. So you've got a light, medium, and a heavy punch. Light, medium, and heavy kick. And then you've got crouching versions, and really execution is just being able to get the stuff you want out when you want it. So you've got air versions of these moves, yada yada yada. But you know what, let's go over some specials, because that's what we're all really here for. We want to be able to effectively get out those special moves when we need them. So we're going to go into command list, and the first thing you come into is special move. Akali, of course, only has 4 special moves. Let's take a look at them one by one. The disc guidance is a charge move as indicated by the yellow arrow. So that means hold back for a second. I'll show you right now. Hold back, press forward, and hit punch. Simple as that. Then we'll go further down the command list. Raging light. That little zigzag motion is forward, down, down, forward, and then a punch button. That's it. And then further down is command list. Mask up lolly. So near opponent, which means it's a command grab. Okay, so we're going to do a half circle back with whatever flavor of punch we want. And that's that. And then the last command we're going to worry about is Valiant Rebellion, which is a quarter circle forward plus kick. So remember, it says at the bottom, all commands assume the character is facing right. So don't think about left or right, just think about back and forward. So you're always going to know where the back of your character is. So just hold back. It doesn't matter whether that's left or right. You're holding back. Let's not complicate things any further. So Valiant Rebellion, that's it. So if you notice on the left side of my screen, I've got all the key displays on. So when I press buttons, light is blue, medium is yellow, and then heavy is red. Then you've got all your directions. Ooh, they're spinning. They're spinning! So if I just hold a direction, you only see it once. If I hit it multiple times, you see it multiple times. If you hit a button with a direction, they happen on the same line. Remember that, it's important. Because now we're going to get into the execution tutorial. What you want to do is you want to pick a special move for whichever character, go into command list, pick your move. So I'm going to start with the disc guidance. I'm going to charge back, I'm going to hit forward, I'm going to hit a punch back. So it's a charge move, you have to remember, you got to charge it for at least a second. Okay? And then when you're done with that, you're going to come over here, you're going to go to side setting, you're going to start on the right side because you've got to do it 10 times on the other side as well. Now, just notice for now that if I use different buttons, I get different effects. Like he travels half the screen, he travels a quarter of the screen, he travels basically full screen. You're going to see why we're in the grid, because these lines help you count all sorts of stuff. We're going to get into that when we start learning about distance and spacing and whatnot. So right side, and then he's got another move. Then he's got this move. And as you can see, I already made a mistake. So this is why you want to practice your execution in the training room. So if I'm trying to do this move, which is this guidance, you can see right there, I did not press punch at the same time as forward. So that doesn't count. Or here, I'm pressing forward and punch at the same time, but I'm not charging long enough. And here, one of the classic ones, if you look there, there's an up forward in there. Went too high up. So just like tighten up your motion. Make sure you're only, if you really want to get precise, only go until you get the click. You don't have to go all the way to the gate and really mash on it. Because you see, it's very easy, especially with this square gate, to just go all the way up here. That's not an indictment against the square gate. Basically any gate, if you're not being precise, you're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be. Also, pro tip for charge characters, you can hold down back. And it still works the same as long as you get it forward in there. Now you can't roll from down back to down forward. You got to roll from down back to forward. Remember that. Other move, Raging Light, which is your standard Shoryuken or Dragon Punch motion. Forward, forward, down, down, forward, and then punch. Now, you've got to practice this on both sides, and you'll see, for me, it's much easier for me to practice it when I'm on the right side, because this motion, when I'm going away from the buttons in that direction, is much easier. I don't know why, but my left hand is just like, when I'm over here, I'm like immediately able to just like make things happen. I like being on the right side, so I spend a lot of time practicing on the left side, because the left side is my weaker side. That's at least for motions where I'm going like that, motion-wise. If you've got motions where, you're going like, quarter circle back, make sure you're practicing on the other side, because, if that's your weaker side, you definitely want to get more reps in on that side. So what sort of stuff can you see when you're not executing some of these moves well? So we've already gone over how charge moves work or don't work. So let's look at that input right there. So I've got a forward sort of, I've got a down, I've got a down forward, then I've got a forward, then I've got an up. So the up takes priority. See? So up takes priority. If the up happens before the forward and the punch, you're going to get a jump. And when someone's jumping in on you or doing something and you're trying to get that DP motion out, a lot of times the last thing you want to do is jump. And then there's this. You could have the same problem here with Valiant Rebellion. You have the same problem here with Masco Talali, where like, oh, I didn't get my full half circle. Now I got my half circle. Now I'm making sure I'm pressing the button at the same time as a direction. That's pretty much it. Make sure you're doing these 10 times on each side, then you're going to move on. Because after special moves, I've got unique attacks. So his opening dagger is his overhead move, that's down forward. Fierce, his dive kick is forward jump, and then down plus heavy kick, and then his target combo is medium kick, heavy kick, and then into V skill, which is medium punch plus medium kick at the same time. It's a target combo. It's very hard to miss. It's got very lenient timing. That was without me even looking at the screen. Very easy to time. Then after that, the V system. So V skills. We're not going to get into V reversals right now because we've got to do some dummy setup first. And then the last page you're going to look at in your command list before you get to throws are your critical arts. So critical arts, of course, you got to practice crap out of those. So practicing them here raw is really different than practicing them in situations where you need them. So just remember, all you want to do is really focus on getting your muscle memory down. And that's it. This isn't going to be the end-all be-all for your critical arts. You're going to have to learn how to combo into them unless you want to just stay raw dog all day. Then the last page of your command list, unless you've got some super special secret character, are your normal throws. So Nikali's only got the forward or neutral throw and the back throw. That's accomplished by hitting light punch plus light kick same time with or without direction. So if you do it with no direction, you get the forward throw. If you do it plus forward, you get the forward throw. If you do it with back, you get the back throw. Practice this at least 10 times on each side and you will be well on your way to mastery basic execution. Just remember, that is the bare minimum you're doing. The absolute bare minimum. It's not going to mean that you can go to EVO and then place top 32. It means that maybe if you go to EVO, you'll have the confidence to say, hey, I'm going to be able to execute my moves when I need them. Think about that. Put that in your back pocket. And then whip out your stick. Wow. Entendres. And then get into some matches. First things first, hop into training mode, set up your training environment, get your practice in, build your muscle memory, and then come back and watch the next video because there's going to be plenty more stuff for you to learn. So I'm Ray. You can find me everywhere at Ramen Brownie. Deuces.